So today we are going to do the Sailor Moon Redraw challenge that has been going around for actually quite a while. It has been going around in 2019 already, and now in 2020, all of a sudden it just popped up everywhere again. If you are very engaged in the art community like I am, your whole timeline for the past couple of days has probably been full of drawings from Sailor Moon. And this is the keyframe we are going off of. This is the one that everyone, or mostly everyone, has chosen to recreate in their own style. There's also been memes about it, and people have been trying to do different artworks about it, and it's basically everywhere. And I don't think you can come around to at least have seen one of these artworks. I thought they were quite hilarious and I wanted to try myself. So this is what we are doing today. I thought filming it and just showing the whole process of me drawing this artwork and showing how I drew it in my style would be interesting for you guys to watch. So that is what we are doing. As you can see, I just sketched out the whole artwork. I had the artwork open on my PC and then I just tried to recreate it as best as I could. When you do digital art, it's much easier to just put a layer on top and draw over it. When you do traditional art, it's a little bit harder. Theoretically, you can also trace by just getting a scanned version of the original art and all that stuff. But I tried to just eyeball it and I hope I did a good job. It was kind of hard because you're actually trying to recreate it as close as possible to the original, but still trying to do your own style. So getting the pose and everything right was a little bit tricky, but I think I did an okay job. So after sketching, I do outlines. A lot of people always tell me I do really nice outlines, and trust me when I say I appreciate it, but it also takes me a super long time to do outlines. I always wish I could include a little bit more of it, but it's literally I don't know, 2-3 hours process of just outlining, because I try to be very careful to make the most clean lines. And then after the outlines are done, as you can see, I'm starting to color. When coloring, as always, I know I say that every video because we basically almost always work with Copic markers, but every time I work with Copic markers, I always put the base colors down first, then I do some shading with some darker colors, and then later I go over it with my Faber-Castell polychromos to add a little bit more depth to the artwork. The thing I probably like the most about this artwork is the eyes at the end. I really think they very vibrant, very bright, and I think your eye just instantly goes to her eyes. I really like the blue and I think it looks really nice. I normally never work with colors that are that vibrant, like at least not reds and blues. I normally try to stay away from them. I maybe sometimes do a background color that's very bright, but normally, at least when it comes to clothing and stuff, I stay very much away from really bright reds and really bright blues. So this was something new for me, and especially the blue I think is really, really pretty. So I might be doing something else with that in the future. Maybe I can find a nice concept for an artwork where I can use a lot of blues. For the hair, I try to go with a little bit more realistic color. There's different versions of the Sailor Moon original picture, where she has both very light hair, where it's very realistically colored, and then there's also a version where she has very yellow hair. I personally do not like to use yellow to show blonde hair. I always think it looks very comic-y and unrealistic. And I try to stay with colors that would actually also work in real life. So I try to go for something that's a little bit lighter and not as aggressive when looking at it. I think really yellow would have been too much. I personally need to say that I never think Sailor Moon was a big part of my childhood. I know a lot of you guys who are maybe a little bit older say like, oh, this was the anime I watched. But for me, Sailor Moon is an anime that I watched, but I didn't love. I wasn't 100% sold on it. I was more so a Dragon Ball child. I grew up with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and those were the two shows I watched the most. And then a lot of Digimon, Inuyasha, and also Kamikaze Kaito-Jun, which is funny because I feel like Kamikaze Kaito-Jun kind of falls into this whole magical girl style. So I feel like I should have watched Sailor Moon a little bit more, but maybe it just didn't stick with me. I can't even remember, because I think the concept of Sailor Moon is really nice, and in my later years I actually do have the manga at home and I really like reading it, but the anime just never really stuck out to me. As for the background, you can see I'm trying to make the transition in the background from darker to lighter, where you can see at the top of her head it's darker because it's fading out into the background, and the foreground is a little bit lighter to create some depth. I would love to hear if you guys had a really big connection to Sailor Moon, or which anime was like one of the first animes you guys watched. I think stuff like that is really interesting, and it also shows later on when you grow up how your art style develops, because often we just like reference stuff that we like. So yeah, I would be definitely interested in hearing what your inspiration was as a child or what you were really into watching. So after I'm done with the background, now we are kind of getting into the more detailed stuff that I talked about at the beginning. I'm using my color pencils now for the end and just doing some small touch-ups, trying to get a little bit more depth into the skin and more definition into the hair. And that is basically it. I don't really know if you guys can see that much of a difference. I feel like you can see it in the eyes, but maybe not so much in the hair or even the skin. Mostly I just do this for me because I feel I can see a difference. I'm not 100% sure if it's that noticeable though. And I also try to not go overboard with the color pencils, because I told you guys before that I sometimes just overdo it a tiny bit. But yeah, that's the whole artwork. I hope you guys like how this turned out. Thank you guys again so much for all the new subs I have gotten. You guys, I'm so happy. I appreciate you a lot. If you want to see other videos, there is somewhere on the screen, or you can just click on my channel. Please like and subscribe, all that good stuff. And if you want to see more artwork that I have created, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram and other things. All handles are down in the description below, and there's also some links to every art supply I've used in this video. Thank you guys for watching. I see you in the next video. Bye bye.